We got done talking about verses 1 through 9 of Proverbs chapter 4. Talking once again, Solomon was being reminded of how his father continued to tell him to seek wisdom and understanding. Do not forsake her. Love her, and she will give you peace and comfort, long life, and she will give you, at the end of verse 9 it says, a crown of glory she will deliver to you. So we need to cherish wisdom and be reminded how precious he is. So to start in verse 10, I hear an echo.
Sorry.
Thank you. So we're going to start in verse 10 for this evening of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 10. And Brother Terry, can you read verses 10 through 13?
Hear, my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of your life will be many. I have taught you in the way of wisdom, I have led you in the right paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hindered, and when you run, you will not stumble. Take firm hold of instruction, do not let go. Keep her, for she is your life.
Okay. So the encouragement, once again, we're seeing the encouragement, receive. Hear, my son, so everyone should hear, and receive my sayings, and the years of your life will be many. Now, I myself have not found anyone that taught me this, and this type of phrase right here. So, do you have anyone in your life that says, hear me? Do you have anyone in your life that says, and receive my sayings, and the years of your life will be many? I certainly have not had this particular saying in my life.
Jesus Christ, though.
Okay, Jesus. All right. So Jesus is the only one. Him and His Word. But to find that from someone else in your life, that you can fully lean upon what they're saying, is pretty tremendous. And verse 11 says, I have taught you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in right paths. So that's something I need to be a doer of God's Word. I need to be a teacher in some shape or form. I need to be able to understand and give it to others. And verse 12 says, when you walk, your steps will not be hindered, and when you run, you will not stumble. Sometimes in our life, we're doing good, we go, and our walk becomes a jog, our jog becomes a run, and sometimes in our life, we just faceplant. We just go too fast and like everything is smooth, and then something just trips us up and we just whack. And we get really discouraged and we get all beat up. But then that's why we get back up and we start walking and we walk. And this is the key thing right here. Your steps will not be hindered. That's something I need to be reminded of myself when I cherish wisdom and seek God. In verse 13, take firm hold of instructions, and do not let go. Keep her, for she is your life. That's how it works with her. All right, we cherish her, we love her. She's going to give us all these things, and for she is your life. Right? Isn't God our lifeline? Right. So He is our lifeline. Everything that comes from Him gives us life. Now, there's a word that there in verse 13 says, hold of instructions. Once again, I need to be humble. I need to be patient. And I need to try to understand and listen. And not despise the instructions that I'm being told, even though sometimes I do not understand. Rita, are you willing to read this evening? Okay. I'll have you read verses 14 through 19.
Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not
2 more verses, please.
But the path of the just is like the shining sun that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble.
Okay. So it's pretty direct here. It says, do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evil. Okay, so I got to remind myself not to walk in that direction. But yet, we all have walked the path of darkness, right? And we all have gotten out of the path of darkness. And I know in the New Testament it explains that quite frequently, how you were lost in the dark, right? You once walked in the darkness. You once walked in the principalities of the air, right? So here, there's something that struck me in verse 16. Can anyone see in verse 16 what the key point there is?
It's saying that there's people that will keep on going until they can make somebody stumble.
Right. No, that's a very, very disturbing but truthful note here. It says, for they do not sleep unless they have done evil, and their sleep is taken away unless they make someone fall. That's pretty intense. That's what struck me the most. I was reading this and I was like, yeah, don't walk in the path of evil, don't do evil. Okay, I get it. And I know it's repetitive, but right there, it got to me. I was like, wow. They do not sleep at all. They waste their time sleeping. Not sleeping. They waste their time and their energy when they could be sleeping. They reject sleep to fulfill their desires. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. They will do anything until they have successfully accomplished their goal. And like that last point Mike said, it says they make someone fall. That's really intense. That you can imagine someone out there in the world that will go and hinder another person. I mean, we do that all the time, right? We might hinder someone or hurt someone in some shape or form. Sometimes intentional, sometimes not. Anger gets in the way a lot of the times when we're just frustrated with things going on in our life and we just have this outburst of anger and we just snap, right? But this is something different. This is, once again, they're planning to do evil. This right here shifts everything towards Satan, right? And who he is and what he does. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so I just wanted to go back to verse 11. I have taught you in a way of wisdom. I have led you in right paths. That word, right paths, only found in Proverbs 4, verse 11, in the entire Bible.
Really?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on to that?
Yeah. It talks about righteousness leading to life, found only in the book of Proverbs.
Okay. Thank you.
Proverbs is a true book of wisdom.
Thank you. Right, we're talking about how to become a righteous man. And it says in right paths, right? Any other comments before I go on?
At 14, 15, 16, this whole concept of don't even start to tread the dark path, because there are people out there who that's what they do, right? It's their life. It's their ambition and their goal is to make people fall. And doing what I do for a living, which makes me think about drug pushers. Some people kind of wander off into that world just a little bit, thinking, "Oh, I'll go try some of what life has to offer." and they get pulled down by these people who don't sleep until they can drag somebody else down, because they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. I mean, that's how they make their money. That's how they make their living. That's how they think they're going to get by in this world, by dragging other people into their world.
Right. And it makes them feel good for some reason. To have them brought down to their own level. Right? In verse 17 it says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence." That's pretty intense right there. And once again, we can shift it towards Satan and what he does, and that's exactly what he does. And we're like, well, why? Some people cannot just fathom that people just do evil, right? You're like, what's the point? Don't you see it's hurting you, it's hurting others? But it's a hard thing to grasp, but it's out there. This last part, it says in verse 18, "But the path of the just is like the shining sun, that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble." Now this took a different perspective of what's in the dark. When I was a young boy, I had to turn every light on in the house to get to my destination because I was just so terrified. My brain played a lot of tricks on me. And I said, I had to turn on all these lights and I'll be protected. Right? And it's because of things out there. And mostly it was spooky stuff, right? Or bad guys on TV shows. But there's more out there than yes, people, right? Anything, you're in complete darkness. You can't even know if this is a wall or a table, really, without feeling it. But yet, who wants to go around feeling in a dark room when something can bite you? It says they do not know what makes them stumble. They don't even care to address the thing that's hindering them in the dark. They just stumble over it and they just press on. They stumble over it and they press on. And it reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah when the angels were there and the people wanted to get into the house. And the angels made everyone go blind. But yet they did not care if they were blind, for they wanted to get to their goal of hindering and doing evil to the people that they were after, that they were crawling on top of each other. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so the wicked likes the darkness because it conceals whatever they're doing, right?
Right.
They don't like the light
Right.
because the light exposes them. Satan don't like the light because the light exposes him.
Right. And so the just, and that's what we're looking at. It says the path of the just is the shining sun. And that's what we want, right? It says that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. Unto that perfect day. Okay. Kara, are you willing to read? Okay, can you read verses 20 through 27?
My son, give attention to my words, incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart. For they are life to those who find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Put away from you a deceitful mouth, and put perverse lips far from you. Let your eyes look straight ahead, and your eyelids look right before you. Ponder the path of your feet, and let your ways be established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Remove your foot from evil.
Thank you. Okay, this last part, I'll let the audience, anything that jumps out at you from this last part, feel free to express your thoughts upon it. I'll wait and give you a couple seconds.
Well, the first part that talks about give attention to my words, follow his word, you don't stray from it. because once you do, then you get stuck in authority.
Right. No, that's very true. We keep seeing this over and over again. It says, my son, in verse 20, give attention to my words, incline your ears to my sayings. Once again, you have someone pleading, you have someone that's teaching, you have someone that is showing that what they're giving you is legitimate, that it's real, that this is truth, that you can take and lean upon it, and you're not going to stumble, you're not going to fail, and you can trust me. Trust in what I'm saying. I mean, we have a hard time with that today with people all around us. You know, how many people of you can say, I absolutely believe in my brother over here, let's say Brother Mike, I believe everything he says. He will not lead me astray. He will help me 100%. But if you live in some parts of the world, they can't even have that. People are always lying and twisting. They're not being trustworthy. Anything else from the audience, from what we just read?
You say that why is he giving this instruction? Why is he giving this leading to the audience? My son is all of us, everyone. It's because it says because they give life. Where's that?
No, you're
Their life
Mm-hmm.
to those who find them, and health to all their flesh. So, if you're going to live long, you're going to need something to keep you living a long time.
Right.
You see the same instruction again in Ephesians chapter 6 to the child, parents, and the responsibility. Share these things with your children so that you may live long, so that you live long on the earth.
Right. No, that's exactly right. Life. That's what we're looking at. In verse, let's see here. Verse 23, I feel like everyone can be on the same page as that. What does verse 23 say?
Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issue of life.
Right. Our heart, right there. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. I need to continue to say, okay, God, I trust in you. I'm going to lean upon you. And I just got to give it to you. I can't do anything else. I can't just hang on to it and worry, right? My heart, my thoughts, my emotions, they can't handle it. And it's just going to get me in trouble all the time. All these issues, I'm just going to keep piling them on. I just got to say, Father, please help me handle it. So in verse 23, that was another one that really jumped out at me, because I need to learn how to control myself some more. In verse 24 it says, put away from you a deceitful mouth, and put perverse lips far from you. Because once again, they'll get you in trouble. Let your eyes look straight ahead, and your eyelids look right before you. Under the path of your feet, and let all your ways be established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Remove your foot from evil. I just got to keep looking ahead. I can't get distracted here or there. I got to do what I can to keep going forward. I think I missed 21. 21 says, do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart. Once again, the faithful sayings. Any other comments and questions before we head on to chapter 5? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to hit this a lot. So if I don't always talk about it, it's because we already discussed it. It's just bringing it back up again. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so Jeremiah 10:23 says, "O Lord, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man who walks to direct his own steps." So we need to follow the Lord. We need to follow his word. We need to be faithful and diligent.
That's a perfect tie-in. Thank you for that. It's Jeremiah
10:23.
Jeremiah 10:23. I got a little bit of time left. We'll head into chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding. Why am I reading? Mike, I'm going to have you read, actually. Because I'm just going to revisit it after you get done. Let's see here. Yep, we'll just do 1 through 6, and then we'll talk about it.
1 to 6. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of hell. That you ponder her path of life. Her ways are unstable, you do not know them.
Okay. So it continues on. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding. And I forgot to mention, the reason why people are so wise in their older days is because they've actually gone through life. I can't understand everything at the age of 5 because I haven't lived my life. So that's why the old saying is, listen to your elders. Is that the old saying?
Yeah, but we gotta make sure the elders are speaking the right thing.
Right. That's also true. But the reason why we look at Solomon, he had his father David. David went through tremendous events in his life. No wonder he's always like, Solomon, you need to seek wisdom and knowledge. Trust me. It'll help you a lot. And lean upon God, because I've gone through things, right? So we're getting into the people now, the certain kinds of people, not just wicked people, but men and women and what they do. And it says that you may, in verse 2, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. So this is how the immoral women act. And when I read in the Old Testament, the children of Israel, when they would go and conquer nations, God always said, do not take them as your wife. Right? Because they will lead you astray. But they did it. They took the women and they got led astray, right? So we need to be careful of whom we're around. Now, I'm not just picking on the women here. It's addressing them at this time. But men have done a lot of things too. I forget who it is. King David went to a house. There was a woman who had a husband, and the husband was extremely rude and basically could have got him and the spouse in trouble. But the wife went to David and pleaded and said, do not, please have mercy on us, have mercy on my husband, be kind. I forget which wife it was. But go back, read that story. You'll find out that the man also stumbles and he has problems. I'm always making sure that we're on an equal playing field with genders here. Because there's been plenty of times people get very discouraged or narrow-minded. But anyways, so we got to be careful with those around us. It says, it drips honey, smoother than oil. But they are bitter, on a two-edged sword, and they'll drag you down. So I got to be careful with that. Things are tempting in this life, but the end is not very good for us. It continues on saying in verse 5, her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of hell. Lest you ponder her path of life, her ways are unstable, you do not know them. So that's why it's so important to understand those around you and who you're getting mixed up in. And even if you do get mixed up in the wrong crowd, can you actually be strong and hold fast? I mean, God tells us to go out into the world, right? And preach. Well, the world lives like this. And so I got to know how to handle myself. And I got to know just to not let it get to me. To not get dragged down. I know some people that say, I won't go over there because of what they do. Okay. But yet you're also missing out on an opportunity to hopefully preach God's word. So you, each and every one of us, got to take that and decide, well, can I actually go there and be an example? Or will I not be able to handle it? But you can't just say, I'm not going to go over there and just be at my house and do nothing. I got to be able to fill in somewhere else where someone else couldn't go. Go ahead, Mike.
So what do you say?
What did I say?
I mean, you can go and have people influence you, but you can also go and influence them.
Right. Right. I mean, I work at construction, and I got offered a smoke the other day. And they're like, you smoke? You want to come smoke? I said, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I won't smoke. Thank you, though. And no, thank you. I'll pass. But I mean, I was able to say no. So there we are. Let's see here. I'll quickly lead us into 7 through 14, and then we'll end there and we'll pick it back up. Again, we'll refresh it next week. In verse 7 it says, therefore hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one, lest aliens be filled with your wealth, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner, and you mourn at last, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and say, how I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was on the verge of total ruin, in the midst of the assembly and congregation. People do live their lives like this, unfortunately. People have gone through this. They have felt this deep despair. They have come to this point where they say in verse 12, I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. So it's just a good reminder, unfortunately, that people live their lives like this. They have the same feelings and emotions, and I must learn and continue walking forward. Any other questions or comments before I end this evening? Well, it was pretty straightforward, this last part. So I guess next week we'll pick it up from verse 15 and end the chapter. Well, there's nothing else. Thank you once again for your comments and for your participation once more.